Hey friends, and welcome back to Hummingbird Acres. Have you ever wanted to bring a bit of magic and wonder right into your backyard? Imagine your kids running outside, squealing with excitement because a monarch butterfly had just landed on their hand. Today, I'm sharing the real-life story of how our family built a monarch way station and how you can do it too, no matter how much time, space, or gardening experience you have. Let me take you back to where this whole journey began for us. My first grade classroom. I still remember the wide-eyed awe on my students' faces as we watched tiny caterpillars munch their way across milkweed leaves, spin their chrysalises, and finally emerge as beautiful monarch butterflies. That sense of wonder, I had to bring it home to my own family. So I started collecting milkweed seeds in the fall, digging up a few roots from our school garden and bringing them home to plant in our backyard. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't perfect, but it was the start of something special. A space where my kids and I could learn, laugh, and watch nature do its thing together. But you might be thinking, isn't that a lot of work? Don't you need acres of land? Is it even safe for kids and pets? While you watch this video of the monarch life cycle, let's bust some myths and show you just how simple and meaningful creating a monarch way station can be. So the first myth that you might have heard is that milkweed is just a weed. Nope, you're wrong. Most native milkweed varieties are beautiful wildflowers, and they're the only food for monarch caterpillars to eat. Our common milkweed smells absolutely amazing every year when it blooms. I don't think a weed could smell that good. Myth number 2, it's dangerous for kids or pets. Unless your dog or toddler is eating handfuls of milkweed every day, which is really unlikely, it is actually safe to grow, and we have never had any issues. We do have our kids wash their hands after handling milkweed because the sap can hurt your eyes. Myth number 3, you need a huge yard. You can start with a single raised bed or even a container on your patio. There is no minimum size for a monarch way station. Myth number 4, just plant milkweed and walk away. Yes, but monarchs need nectar plants as well. So you need a little bit more than just milkweed. Myth number, 5, tropical milkweed is always the best. Actually, native varieties are safer for migration and healthier for our local ecosystem. Here in Virginia, try planting common milkweed, swamp milkweed, and butterfly weed. Myth number 6, no maintenance is needed. Well, like any garden, it needs a little TLC, but honestly, it's pretty easy once your garden is established. And myth number 7, it becomes addicting. Well, actually, this one isn't a myth because it really does become addicting. When I first started my monarch obsession, my mom joined right in. Every day after work, she'd scout for milkweed patches on her drive home. One Saturday, we grabbed some scissors and marched out into a field near her office. We snipped milkweed stalks for what felt like hours. These milkweed stalks were covered in caterpillars and eggs. We stuffed them in a car and drove home laughing, half worried that we'd missed a caterpillar crawling somewhere in the seats. It was messy and imperfect, but it was full of joy. Nowadays, when we drive down the road, the kids are constantly pointing out milkweed and asking to stop and look for caterpillars. So how can you create your own monarch way station? Well, we're going to go through some simple steps for you. Step number 1 is to choose your spot and plant milkweed. You want to pick a spot that gets 6+ hours of sunlight each day. To determine this spot, we're going to do what's called is sun mapping, which is watching your yard for an entire day and taking note of where the sun is most often. If you want to know more about sun mapping, I have a whole section in our Gardening from Scratch course. I'll leave that link below for you. Then you want to plant, once you've decided on your spot, you want to plant your native milkweed. Shoot for around 10 plants. In our garden, we have common milkweed, which has really wide leaves. We have swamp milkweed, which has skinnier leaves, and we have butterfly weed, which has orange flowers. I'm going to highly recommend that you do not buy your milkweed from a big box store. If at all possible, find some local nurseries or friends that have milkweed that wouldn't mind sharing. Big box stores often spray their plants with pesticides and herbicides, and you do not want that anywhere near your monarch way station. So once you've picked your spot, you've planted your milkweed, you want to make sure you water it really well that first year. But once it gets settled, it takes care of itself. Step number 2 is you are going to want to plant nectar flowers for your monarchs. They need nectar from spring to fall. Pick wildflowers or perennials that bloom in waves. In our garden, we have coneflowers, catmint, black-eyed Susans, yarrow, bee balm, sedum, blazing star, blue stem grasses, yucca, and joe pye. We are just now establishing our monarch way station and adding to our monarch way station here in Virginia. So I have been adding these plants a little bit at a time. Some annuals that monarchs love are zinnias and sunflowers. When planting, dense planting, so often like a few together, 3 or 4 plants together, offer shelter for your monarchs. But don't overcrowd. Make sure you leave enough space for the plants to grow. Nearby shrubs or trees can also help protect from the wind and give butterflies a place to roost at night. In Maryland, we had a dawn redwood tree that the monarchs absolutely loved, and it was huge. We have one here in Virginia as well, but it's not as big yet. So step number 3 is to create and maintain sustainable and safe gardening. So this is going to keep your way station healthy, and it's also going to keep your monarchs healthy. So the first thing you want to do is say no thanks to pesticides or herbicides. They hurt your monarchs. Milkweed does have some pests, believe it or not. Aphids is one of them, and an easy way to take care of aphids is either to spray them off, or you can get yourself some ladybugs and release the ladybugs into your way station, and they will help take care of your aphids. Tusk moths are another thing that can harm your milkweed. They can decimate a milkweed plant in a day. We have picked them off in the past, but what we have found is just planting more milkweed is the better option. That way, tusk moths have some and the monarchs have some. Your monarch way station is not going to need a lot of fertilizers, but if you do choose to fertilize your plants, compost is best. And I would suggest something eco-friendly like worm castings or a compost tea. Nature likes it really simple, and so does your way station plants. Step number 4 is ongoing maintenance. So weeding and occasional watering, especially during dry spells, is going to be necessary. In our garden, we have a sprinkler set up that waters every other day. It is very common for milkweed to spread, and that is one of the reasons why a lot of people don't like planting it in their yard. But what we have found best to control it is cut it whenever it pops up where it's not supposed to be. So milkweed will appear outside of our garden in our grass, and we just cut it down, and we don't have any remorse or regret about it because we know we have a lot of milkweed inside our way station area. So just cut it down. It also helps if in the fall you tie your seed pods shut either with a piece of string or a rubber band, and then once you're tying them shut so the seeds are not released and it doesn't spread. But once those seed pods do dry, cut them, and then you can collect the seeds and then you can share them with neighbors and friends who are also interested in helping save the monarchs. And step number 5 is going to be register your way station with Monarch Watch. I will leave the website linked below for you. And make sure that you get a sign, because you should be very proud of your Monarch way station and all of the work that you put into it and how you are helping the monarchs. And registering, and they have a map on their website where you can see where all of the way stations are. This is a fun way for kids to look at where the different way stations are, and it really helps track conservation. By this point, you're probably wondering, why go through all of this trouble to create a monarch way station? Well, monarchs aren't just pretty. They are pollinators. They're a keystone species and an incredible sign of ecosystem health. Monarchs pollinate wildflowers, support the food web, and are a vital sign of a healthy environment. Their population decline is a warning. What happens to the monarchs affects all of us. They are a key pollinator for our food system. So they need to be helped and they need to be protected. If that isn't enough of why you should create a monarch's way station, do it for the monarchs. Monarchs are the only butterflies known to make a two-way migration, like birds, traveling thousands of miles to warmer climate for the winter. The eastern population of monarchs complete a 3,000-mile migration, with the final generation of the year making the full journey to Mexico, while the other generations fly shorter distances. Monarchs use a combination of Earth's magnetic field and the sun's position to navigate during their migration. Their wings are covered in tiny, colorful scales that give them the distinctive pattern and help them with their aerodynamics. Monarch caterpillars rely exclusively on milkweed for food, and this plant is essential for their survival and their toxicity that protects them. Monarchs flap their wings at a relatively slow pace, averaging 5 to 10 times per second. They are amazing insects, and just watching them becomes addicting. There is also a cultural meaning to monarchs. In some traditions, monarchs are symbols of remembrance, hope, and transformation. For us, they are a reminder of my mom, who loved collecting and raising monarchs with us. You're not just planting flowers, you're creating a legacy for your kids and your community. Seeing your kids get hooked on nature is priceless. And honestly, the joy and the learning and the sense of accomplishment are things your kids will remember forever. Monarchs are a core memory for my kids. Are you ready to take messy action and try this for yourself? Start with just a few plants. See what happens, invite your family along for the ride, and remember, it doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. If you want more step-by-step tips, plant lists, and community support, be sure to subscribe to Hummingbird Acres and check the links below for free resources and how you can register your own monarch waste. Let's turn our backyards into monarch havens, one family, one garden at a time. You're not alone, and you can do this. Let's learn and grow together.